Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Yay, happy Friday. It's a hat Friday here on Run It Back. Look at us, just a team, just killing it. Are you still in Cabo, Chandler?
I'm still here, Michelle. I can't leave this place.
Okay, the only question, do you speak fluent Spanish by now?
Oh, poquito.
My God.
I'm not convinced.
All right, let's get this thing started, shall we? Let's get it start with the Miami Heat. And this one, Pacers with a win, 128-115. But it's not about that, is it? I think we all know what it's about. This is a Jimmy Butler starting show. 9 points last night. He had 9 points in the game before. And this is what he had to say about correcting his recent struggles.
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, you know, off the court. But I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
Well, damn.
I mean, that is okay. This is where it's going to get interesting because I don't think Pat Riley is going to love any of what just got said. It sounded very endish like. Lou, what do you do with these comments?
Well, you take them, digest them, and you figure out what are next steps. You know, I like the fact that Jimmy was honest. He took accountability for the way that he's been playing, and he cautioned that to getting his joy back. You know, he's not playing at the level that he would like to play. He's not impacting the winning. You know, his numbers are down. Everything is down. He's not feeling good. And he said it. I want to get my joy back. I'm playing basketball and helping his team win games, you know, and it was kind of it was an oxymoron, but at the same time, I enjoyed the accountability. I enjoy to hear guys that say they have a part in everything that's going on. Now, the flip side to that is because he wants out of Miami doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get his way. You know, based on the relationship that he has with Pat Riley in the front office, that's going to be a big caveat to him getting what he wants and ultimately Miami Heat getting what they want. You know, that's going to be a decision that Pat Riley's going to have to make, and he's going to make the best decision that benefits the Miami Heat and not just Jimmy Butler. So at this point, you know, the cards are still in Pat Riley's hands. If he goes out there and finds a deal that's going to push the Miami Heat over the top and put them in a better position than they are in now, with Jimmy Butler, I think as an executive, he's going to entertain those conversations. If he doesn't find that out there, you know, Jimmy is going to have to find another way to find his joy in basketball and remain on the Miami Heat. And so this situation is messy, but I can enjoy the fact that, you know, both sides are being very open and honest in the media about what's expected from both of their perspectives, from both of their point of views. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen from him coming out and saying this.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, I'm thinking there's no way Riley comes out, says I'm not trading him. Now I think it's the opposite. I think this is done. This is a breakup waiting to happen. And you know Pat Riley is not a fan of these comments. You know Pat Riley this just made it even more of a distraction than it was before Pat Riley came out and said he's not trading him. So this I think is going to get sour real quick. And me and my buddies were sitting there last night. I don't know which destination even makes sense. I can see Pat Riley shipping him to a bad team. Like Pat Riley doesn't care if it's a contender. Pat Riley doesn't care if it's East, West. Like he does not care. Pat Riley wants to do what's best for the Miami Heat and his franchise. And that's moving forward without Jimmy Butler. So no doubt in my mind, I think this ends in a trade. I think he's going to leave anyways next year. He's slotted to make so much money next year too. So he wants to go somewhere where he can, you know, be on a good team. He can be on a contender and he can extend, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 more years. I don't know where that's going to be. Do you trade him to an Indiana for like a Miles Turner? Do you trade him to Houston for a Fred VanVleet and something? A Denver for Michael Porter? Like those are kind of the good teams, but I don't think Pat Riley gives a damn about sending him to a contender. And I think this is going to end poorly.
I think he sends him to a bad team, right? Is that not a better?
Yeah, I don't send him to Washington. He could send him to Washington for Kuzma at this point, just to prove a point that like you don't call the shots. Like I got a feeling it doesn't matter where.
I was about to say good team or bad team. It's going to be a deal that's hedged for the Miami Heat. You know, Pat Riley, he's already said publicly, I'm okay with Jimmy Butler staying. If I can't get something that's worth better than Jimmy Butler or somebody that's going to give me a better opportunity to win games, I'm not moving, I'm not budging. And that's where we stand. So whether it's going to be a good team or not, you know, we flirted with the idea of the Phoenix Suns. We thought that made more sense. Well, that's not a contender right now. Now, does Jimmy Butler makes them a contender in a swap for a Bradley Beal or some, I don't know if they got draft picks or whatever else. Like, what happens now? You know, even though Jimmy wants out, Pat Riley he still has the leverage right now as far as these two are concerned. So
it feels like he has all the leverage. Like Jimmy's 35, he'll be 36 in September. There are some really bad teams with some really good parts that are available that would love to go to Miami, I'm sure. Like Pelicans. I feel I feel like Pat Riley has a chance to do something real funny here. If you want to embarrass me in the public like that, go ahead and do that. And here's what's going to happen: is send you to Siberia, basically.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, he's not a fan of these comments, and Pat Riley is going to do what's best for his franchise and what's best for the Miami Heat. So this is going to get ugly media wise. I think they're both going to kind of say certain things, and this is going to turn out to be a nasty breakup. And it's unfortunate because, by the way, this is the same team that Jimmy Butler had joy playing basketball with, you know, last year and the year before. And so I don't know what happened on the court. I don't know what happened off the court. This seems something that is more than basketball to why you want to push your way out of Miami like this. But yeah, it's interesting to where he goes. And if I'm one of those teams, how much does Jimmy Butler move the needle now at this point, right? Jimmy Butler's a great player. He can play both sides of the ball. He is aging a little bit, but like, if you send him to Golden State, does that make them a contender? I don't think so. I think Denver's the one team where, like, okay, bring in a new guy. Like Jokic is clear-cut number one option. Jimmy Butler must fit in with that guy, like that situation. But outside of that, I think they're all pretty lateral moves.
This is going to be a fun watch. Look, Tyler Hero has been playing very, very well, and here we go with the distraction part of things, because he was asked about it, the comments that Jimmy had to say, and it was awkward. And so I think that part is going to be disruptive as well. Have you guys been a part of Lou You First, a team situation where somebody wanted out or things just got really weird?
yeah, it's kind of an awkward thing, right? Because you're competing next to a guy, and your allegiance is always with your teammates. Your allegiance is never with the front office or anything. Even sometimes you got to have a conversation with coaching staff, like, hey, it's not you guys versus us. We're a team. And sometimes when these situations happen, it kind of puts everybody in position to choose a side. And 99.9% of the time, players are going to be on the player's side. Those are the guys that you're out there competing with. That's who you're spending the most time with. And those are your friends. Those are the guys that you want to see be happy and be in scenarios where they can be successful. So, you know, I was in a scenario like that with the Clippers with Blake Griffin. I love Blake. I love playing with him. I love being on a team with him when you're competing at a high level. We were even on a winning streak, but he had been there so long before I got there. His relationship with front office and the coaching staff had deteriorated. And even though we were playing good basketball, there was still a lot of tension in the air, and it just became uncomfortable to a point where, you know, they had to do something about it. And eventually Blake got traded while we were on the middle of a winning streak. Like we weren't playing bad basketball. We were in the middle of a winning streak, and they traded Blake Griffin. That's how much that relationship had deteriorated at that time. But as teammates, you know, you support Blake and you roll with him because you ultimately you want to see that guy happy, because that's somebody that you spend a lot of time with. So Tyler Hero being in this scenario, I'm pretty sure that he's a Jimmy Butler fan and that he wants to see Jimmy be happy. But at the end of the day, the players always side with the players. Those are your brothers.
Yeah, no doubt. And Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler are fine. Their relationship's going to be great. Tyler Hero is having his best year ever while this is all going on. So as much as a distraction as it is, Tyler Hero is a shoe-in lock for All-Star. He's going to be the franchise piece moving forward. And that dynamic between the players is not going to change. I did the same. I did something similar in Memphis where I had issues, but it was with the front office. It was with the ownership. It wasn't with my teammates. It wasn't with the guys in the locker room. And I basically forced my way out of Memphis because I wasn't having the opportunity. I wasn't getting a fair shot in my eyes. So that happens. But at the end of the day, that is beef with the coaching staff. That is beef with front office and the players' relationship doesn't really affect that, and that's always been solid. So players don't really care, honestly, about this. You can call it a distraction if you want, but like at the end of the day, they're going to be cool whether he gets traded, whether he doesn't get traded, and 2 years from now, it's just all going to be a story.
It won't matter. All right. Well, you have some actual basketball that we can get to. We had Clippers Thunder last night. Thunder 13th straight win. A blowout over the Clippers, 116-98. You didn't have James Harden for LA. SGA finished with 29, 8 assists. Hartenstein, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. And they are 17-1 since he came back from injury and was put into that lineup back. He was newly introduced. As far as the signings that happened in the offseason, Chandler, when we look back, will this be the top signing, top 3? Where would you put it?
It's got to be one of them, right? Especially when Chet goes down, and that is what you talked about San Antonio yesterday. You need this frail, kind of lengthy, budding star who's not really fit yet to play the 4 and the 5 in the NBA. It takes a toll. Eventually, he's going to get hurt. He gets hurt. Now you plug in Isaiah Hartenstein. When that contract happened, $80 million, I think people are a little bit caught off guard. It's exactly what they want. He provides it with toughness. He provides it with rebounding. And so, yeah, I think that is one of the top signings. And he also knows his role. He's not a guy that you have to make happy and you have to give him post touches. You don't have to play through him. You can hit him in the pick and roll. You can hit him in the slip, pocket pass, and he can kind of create for others. He's unselfish. He's not going to complain about his points per game. He doesn't care. I think he is the perfect fit for this franchise. He's a perfect fit for the personnel that they have. He doesn't care about anything else other than winning and playing hard. So he's been the absolute ideal addition for this team. He's a great dude, everything I hear about as well. So yeah, I think it's the best or top 2, whatever you want to call it, signing of free agency, and he's worth every penny.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the transitions, it would be him and Cat, I suppose. Third most important dude on this team, Lou, you agree?
I'll say so, but who cares what I think? This team doesn't do a pecking order, right? They know that SGA is the best player on the team, and after that, everybody just do their jobs and they go out and they compete hard as hell. And Hartenstein, he fits that mold. He's a hard-nosed guy that's going to go out there, compete at a high level. Like Chandler just alluded to, man, this guy doesn't even need the basketball to be impactful. He does his job to the T, and his team has been on a roll since he's been there. So whether you're going to make him a second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, he's impacting winning. 17-1 since he's been back in that lineup, and he's going to be a pivotal guy moving forward for them to try to make a championship run.
Earlier in the week, Anthony Edwards, and that's a fun story to keep an eye on, weighed in on the season that SGA is having. And he said, quote, he's the MVP of the NBA. He's unguardable. I feel like he should have won it last year. Now, just for some context, he's averaging 31, 6, and 6. He's got 2 steals a game, and right now is the current odds-on favorite to win the award, Chandler. I mean, who are you putting above him at this point?
It's hard to put anybody, honestly. And Tatum's been my pick, and I thought the Celtics, were going to be the most dominant team. Then here come the Cleveland Cavs out of nowhere, where they have a better record. They're 5 games up on the Celtics. So I think the only way that would have happened for Tatum if they did what the Cavs are doing. And again, I think they're still the team to come out of the East, but you can't not look at this dude. And last year he had a chance, and Jokic again is putting up crazy numbers, but on a pretty mediocre to slightly better than mediocre team. This dude has this aura about him. He has this charisma, this maturity that you think he's a 30-year-old, 10-year vet. Look at not even basketball-wise. Obviously, the highlights we're seeing right now are insane, and his numbers, 31 and 5 and 6, are MVP-type numbers, but to me, it's just the way he carries himself. To me, it's the way he leads this young team. We're talking about, who's the third most important player. Like Lou just admitted, they don't care. Is it Lou Dort? Is it Lou Dort? Is it Wallace? Is it it doesn't matter, because they know it's Shai, it's Jalen Williams. They're going to do the majority of the scoring, and everyone else is just going to fit in. They're going to play their role. But that starts with him, because he is that egoless, fearless leader that is just taking this team. There's my son. He's awake.
Hello.
It's just taking this team to another level, and yeah, I'm man enough to admit it's not Tatum. It is SGA right now. No, and Lou, and you know what? Louis Will has been on it since day one of last season. So you know what?
Good to see you finally come around, Chandler. I appreciate it, man. It's good to see.
Dude, unbelievable. He like him and Ant Edwards can do no wrong in my the way the guy carries himself, the way he dresses, the way he hoops. 10 out of 10.
And I'll double
Yes,
down. Listen, and I'll double down. He's been the same guy since the first day he walked into the Clippers facility, and he's been about business ever since. He knows how to carry himself. He's the epitome of a professional. He goes out and works. You know, we talk about star players and all-star guys setting a tone, setting an example for the rest of the team and how things are going to roll. He's the perfect example of that. It's great to see him in the position that he's in, from being one of my rooks to all-star, superstar, MVP, everything that he's been able to accomplish. Couldn't be more happy for this guy. I hope he finishes the deal.
Yeah, he just seems very mature for his young age.
He's averaging 2 steals per game. We're talking like an all defensive type player too. So he's not just a bucket. He scores points. He defends. He wins. Like the kid does it all.
Hear that, kids? You can do it all. Lou, I'm about to say some words right now I didn't know that I was going to be able to say anytime this season, but Kawhi Leonard is expected to make his return to the lineup tomorrow night for the Clippers. Dun, 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 dun. What are your expectations for his return?
He's going to be impactful. You know, he's going to be impactful on both ends of the floor. We obviously know what he's going to do on the defensive end and how that impacts winning for the Los Angeles Clippers. On the offensive end, I'm sure it's going to take some time for him to figure out his timing. Where does he fit in this new offense that's led by James Harden and Norman Powell in the way that they're playing? But I think it's going to be a seamless fit. I do think it's going to take some time, but I think once it works out, it's going to be seamless, and this Los Angeles Clippers team is going to continue to roll. Remember what I said last week about Kawhi Leonard? When he's on the floor, he's a top 10 to 15 guy in this league, just based on the things that he can do on both ends of the floor in a way that he impacts winning, you know. So I'm sure that he'll be on some type of minutes restriction or something of that nature, but I look forward to seeing him back on the floor, being back healthy, and we'll see how he impacts winning with this Los Angeles Clippers team.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this. We got another game. Talk about Celtics and Timberwolves last night. There was no Jaylen Brown for Boston. No worries. 118-115 win. Tatum, 33, 9, and 8. Derek White with 26. Ant, 15 points. He was 5 of 16. Julius Randle finished with 27 points. Now, no Jaylen Brown was probably got the Timberwolves thinking they might steal one at home. High hopes. They would make a step. We keep waiting for some sort of a turnaround or something to marinate. And yet here we are. This is starting to look like one of those off-season transactions that is not going to bode well, Lou. This feels like a major setback, and now it looks like Ant's starting to feel it. How do you look at this?
Man, I surely hope not. It's not a major setback. You know, we've talked about it time and time again. It looked like the Minnesota Timberwolves are going in the right direction with the way they were building the team that they had. They had great veteran leadership. Your best players were the younger players. You had guys that were proud of defending, and then you kind of go shake that tree a little bit and you throw off the chemistry. Now, we won't place blame on one guy or another. Sometimes when you bring different personnel in, it just changes everything. It changes the dynamic of how you go out there and you compete. And that's been the case for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hopefully this isn't a major setback. Hopefully this is something that's just going to take time for Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, these new guys to get more acclimated with the way that the Minnesota Timberwolves were playing basketball before. But a major setback is going to be hard to do when you have an Anthony Edwards-led team. He's going to be one of the best players in this league. He's one of the younger players in this league to hold that crown. I think anytime you have him, you have an opportunity to win basketball games. I think it's just taking a little longer than expected with these new guys in their lineup and finding out a way to impact winning and being the best basketball team that they can possibly be right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a setback for sure, because I think their team is worse. But when you have an Anthony Edwards, I don't think it's a major setback, and the team's in disarray. I just think this move, it comes down to it was just a confusing move, right? And they were on such a great path. They were on such a trajectory of contending here soon. And Karl Anthony Towns was a huge part of that. So, like Lou said, I don't want to put that all on Julius Randle, because he is still a hell of a player and he's still trying to find his way. And when you go to a new system and a new team, it's tough, and it takes some adjusting period, especially if everything's not going your way. So I think this team, they can figure it out. I think they have enough there. I'm a huge fan of Chris Finch. I think everything he instills in this team, offensively, defensively, they still have the capabilities of being a great team. I just think the West also, when you look around the landscape of the Western Conference, everyone else kind of seems to got a little bit better. Besides Phoenix and they're the team that didn't make a jump, everyone else is kind of right there still, right? And everyone else kind of seems to be a bit better, and the Timberwolves just on paper got worse. And now when you look at them into the season, they're 17-16, they're 8th in the West. Everyone kind of looks at that like a disappointing start. So I think there's still time to turn around. I still think they're a team that could be dangerous when you get matched up with them in the playoffs. But when you have Anthony Edwards, I'm not too concerned, but they definitely need to find out this dynamic. They just need to find out rotations between, Randall and Naz Reid and Gobert, and how do you make this work, and how do you make that engine go offensively? Because it's not clicking yet, but I do think they have enough there to figure it out.
I worry that you're going to lose Anthony Edwards. Like, part of his passion and emotion is why we love him so much, and that this could be a problem. And he had a bad night shooting. We mentioned that. And he did talk about the way he's guarded after the game. Here he is.
It's not how I want to play, of course. I mean, I'm only 23. I don't want to just be passing the ball all night. You feel me? Like,
You don't do like Conley.
yeah, at all. But the way that they guarded me, I think I have to. So
I was gonna say, how hard is it to just stay engaged?
super hard,
Yeah.
super hard, super hard, super hard. I mean, because I'm wired to score the ball.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah. Sorry, man. That's how they're going to guard you the rest of your career.
but I also got to be honest. I'm gonna be the old man harping on this 3-pointer thing. You're 5 for 16 from the field. 9 of your 16 attempts are 3-pointers, right?
Oof.
So you got to put more pressure on the defense. You have to be more assertive in that way. That's what made Ant-Man special. He was one of these young guys at 23 years old that's fearless in attacking the rim. We know they're going to send doubles at you. They're going to send a lot of different packages at you. That comes with an adjustment period of being one of the young superstars in this league. Now, the flip side to that is putting pressure back on them. Don't allow teams to load up on you, holding the ball too long. Catch the ball closer to the rim where you can be more effective, where you can catch it. You can use your strength and get right to the rim, where you can get your free throws. Right now, I'm looking at Ant-Man. I don't see a lot of free throw attempts on here. You know what I mean? And so that's another thing that we have to have. I'm having a hard time finding how many. Shot 4 free throws. That's telling me they're not being as aggressive as needed to be with the style of play that we're accustomed to seeing you play. 16 attempts, 9 of them being 3-pointers. We got to be more aggressive. You're living and dying by the 3-pointer right now, when that's not the way that we've been used to seeing you play. So some of that he has to adjust. He has to get used to being the dominant player that he is. And in the meantime, teams are recognizing that, hey, we can send some different looks at him if he's going to live behind his 3-point line. And so that'll be an adjustment I'm sure that Ant Edwards will make throughout the course of his career. And he need to make it soon for this team to get back on track.
And this isn't going to change anytime soon, right? If I'm playing the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, I am blitzing him in pick and roll. I am shooting the gap on him. I am being physical with him. And I'm making the Mike Conleys, the Anthony Edwards, the Julius Randle, the McDaniels. I'm making those other guys beat me. So this happens across the league, right? When you play the Mavs, you're double teaming Luka Doncic. Now, he does have a Kyrie Irving, and that can offset some of the pressure, and some of the coverages are going to be different based on personnel. He doesn't really have that go-to second guy like he had last year with Towns, right? And a pick and roll in a 2-man game with Cat and with Ed and Ant, you're not going to blitz Ant, because then you're leaving one of the greatest shooting bigs of all time wide open, who's going to shoot 40-45% from 3. That's where I think it's a little frustration, is the pieces around him now. He's not even getting assists out of these. He's getting turnovers. He's getting sped up. He's not getting his attempts. He's not getting to the free throw line. So I think this is just a frustrating comment that he said, but this happens to every franchise, but this happens to SGA. This happens to John Morant and Memphis. It's their job to go in there and put them in better situations, quick hitters, coming off dribble handouts, getting off the ball, slips. There's different movement type offensive sets that they can put in there to kind of free him up a little bit and get this offense working. And I do think they'll make adjustments, but the team is 17-16. They're the 8th seed. So however they're getting guarded, it's clearly working as an opposing team. So he's going to see this more. He's going to see this all season long. So they have to find a ways to keep him happy and to get him easier looks and easier opportunities, because it's going to continue to get frustrating. And on top of it, they're losing. So that's even going to make it worse.
And the problem is that the root of all of this is what he's probably thinking is, Why did we make these changes?
Yeah,
Why
he's
is
thinking
this
right now.
worse?
He's thinking this wasn't this hard last year. Like what
Yep.
now? And that's pissing him off even more.
Lou, did you have something?
No, my main thing is the best version of him. We watched him play in that mid range. We watched him play from 10 to 15 feet from the basket. Like if you want easier looks, you got to put pressure on these guys as well. You got to start putting defenses in a position where, listen, we can't double him off when he's free throw line extended 15 feet from the rim. We can't send a guy at him right there. That's going to be a one-on-one matchup that he can dominate. Even if you cross screen him and put him right in the post, you're going to be able to double. But if somebody's slashing to the rim and you get easy looks out of that way you can maximize the guys that are around you. But if we're playing again on the 3-point line and we're living and dying by jump shots, it's going to be difficult to correct those things.
Man, I hope they figure it out. I don't want to lose Ant as one of the big stars. I don't want him to be angry all season long. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, trade or stay? Never too early to figure that out. We'll be back.
Run it up, run it back, yeah.
How about a little trade or stay? Look, we're about a month away from the trade deadline, which is going to be a good one this year, I think. So I'm going to give you guys a player, and you will decide whether you're going to trade them or have them stay on the current roster. And Lou, we're going to start with you, and we're going to start with De'Aaron Fox. We know already he turned down the max deal, partly leverage, partly more money. They're not contenders at the moment, and he can walk away after next season. Do you trade or do you stay?
This is my opinion. I think he gets traded. I think they find a trade partner where it works for both sides. Like you said, he turned down that max extension to stay there because he wants to be on a contender, and whether they're a contender or not, maybe he goes somewhere where they build. I would like to see him on a San Antonio Spurs and pair him up with a Wemby, especially with, the future of Chris Paul. You don't know where Chris Paul go from here, being at the tail end of his career. So you pair him up with another young star and De'Aaron Fox, who has a lot of good basketball to play. And maybe there's a play there where he gets traded down there, but I don't see him re-signing after all of the drama and everything that's going on now in Sacramento, and especially with them not being a contender at this current moment.
So you got Spurs. Chandler, is there another team you could see him going to?
I mean, I love him on the Spurs, but again, they're not a contender yet. But I do think that fit and that system and playing with Victor Wembanyama has got to be appealing to De'Aaron Fox, right? So, I mean, you can look at the Lakers. The Lakers kind of make sense, but also their window with this team and LeBron is closing, and so I don't know. If I'm the Kings, I'm doing everything I can to make this dude stay here. He is my franchise point guard. He is elite. He's 5th in the NBA in scoring. He does it all. He's electric, athletically, speed-wise. So I'm doing everything I can if I'm Vivek and I'm this ownership group to have him stay. If anything, I'm kind of looking to move Sabonis before I look to move him, which I think he is that franchise piece. But yeah, it's hard to, it's like a Jimmy Butler situation. Do you really just let this dude walk for nothing, or you kind of start looking at your options of what you can get back in return and kind of build around those other pieces that they have? So this is a tough one. I'd love to see him also on a better team and a better situation playing in the playoffs because he's that good. So San Antonio, for me, that's a building team. They're not there yet, but
well, they're guaranteed play-in, so you got that going for them.
This is a tough one. If I'm the team, I want to keep him. If I'm him, I probably want to dip.
I get it. All right, this is a big one coming up. A lot of money, a lot of things. Paul George, we all know, left the Clippers. Clearly wanted to go play with Embiid in Philly and Maxey, and maybe that would be something which obviously has not been yet. The injury situation's crazy. 3 max players, and you're in the bottom half of the Eastern Conference. All of this just seems disastrous. So Chandler, trade or stay with Paul George?
Well, I think you have to stay, right? Like where can you move him to? What can you get from? It's kind of the Brad Beal thing, right? Like at this point, what can you get back that's equal, value of a Paul George? So his numbers are down, but this big three, again, this was built on health. This is built on them being together and developing chemistry, and they have yet to do that. They're kind of in and out of the lineup. One of them are always out, but I think you have to stay with him. Obviously, he's getting older in age here, and his numbers aren't really going to blow you away here. But I think those will continue to rise with him playing playing more minutes and more opportunity. They're going to keep getting better and better. But this isn't obviously the season that they expected. This isn't the season that they hoped for. This team, like Phoenix, is built to win now, and they're obviously struggling mightily. But I don't know where you could trade him where you can get a value of a Paul George. So I think he has to stay there, at least for now and in the beginning of next season.
It doesn't. I know hindsight's 2020, but man, when you're talking about like two of these guys, anyways, these big long-term deals, like it's built on the idea of health. But what made you think health would be even close to a guarantee?
Well, also when you see these like Zach LaVine, there's a reason. Like I love Zach LaVine, but the guys makes 50+ million. Like that's a big number for a team just to take on. So like it's not even necessarily. It's obviously always about health, but when you start seeing these numbers, these are getting, it's like, okay, do you want to be stuck with that? Like it's tough.
Well, the next one, Chandler, you're up on this one as well. Brandon Ingram, obviously a free agent next summer. Pelicans are a disaster as well. Worst record in the league. Trade or stay. Try to get something for him before it's too late, Chandler.
Adios, amigo. Like this guy, this should have already happened. Like I don't know how it hasn't happened.
You are so fluent.
The man, yeah, you like that? I'm trying to prove a point over. Yeah, this should have happened.
I can break and looked up, and that's what I heard. My bad.
Once they signed Trey to the big extension, I knew the writing was on the wall. You know, he's kind of their guy forward, and Brandon Ingram, it's over. So trade him 1,000%. There's another guy that I just saw that we're going to talk about next. So I'm not going to spoil alert, but it should be a yard sale for this team. They're struggling. They're not healthy. They can't figure out ways to have success on the court. And this is a team beginning of last year that we actually thought, I hope there was some Willie Green coach of the year after like 15 games last year. Like they had so much hope, but this group, I feel like it's coming to an end. I would trade Brandon Ingram. I would trade Zion. I would trade CJ, and I would kind of start over with this franchise.
Are there any teams that you'd ideally see him in?
You know what? Can I put my GM hat on? Since I already traded De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, throw him on the Spurs too. That's a great 1-2. That's a great 1-2-3 punt. They're gonna have to surround Wemby with a bunch of talent really, really fast. You know, you don't want to continue to develop this guy 2-3 years down the line and not have as much talent as some of these other teams that are being built to compete against him. You got to put talented guys there. You know, you already have Devin Vassell. You got a couple of other different guys. Now you can add a Brandon Ingram to that. You can add a De'Aaron Fox out of the blue. That gives you a lot of depth and a lot of different positions to get him an opportunity to win some basketball games. And the San Antonio Spurs have been known to do that.
If I'm Pat Riley, I might just send Jimmy here and take a
That's what I'm thinking. He's gonna do something like this. It's coming. He's not happy. We'll stay in New Orleans for this one because Zion's up next. Luke, keep your GM hat on. He's got 3 years, 126 mil left on that deal. There's obviously also a clause in there that team could enact if they wanted to. Trade or stay with Zion.
Adios, amigo.
Shut up.
Adios, amigo. I think
everyone.
Yes, I think at this point you start over, you start fresh. You know, that their big three that they put together, it just didn't work out, and it's not going to work out. You know, obviously Brandon Ingram has been visibly disappointed with the way things have been going down there, and him in the front office, they've had their rifts. But you know, Zion Williamson is another case. You know, first of all, you can't trade him until he gets healthy. So I would like to see him get back on his feet, put some good games together, and then you put him in a position where you possibly ship him somewhere. And this is the part where I go down to Miami. Or should I just triple down on the San Antonio Spurs?
What are you doing?
Everybody go to San Antonio, right? But no, I seriously think that by February, we see Zion Williamson in a different jersey. And I think that works for both sides. Allow him the opportunity to continue his career, be healthy, get a fresh start. And I think New Orleans as well deserves it at the same time. So I think he's definitely gone by February.
The Zion one's tricky because isn't everyone out there weary? Like we're all watching the same story.
But depending 100%. On what you give up, it's a lot of teams that'll take a crack at him as well.
Fair enough.
It's a risk, it's for sure. But also, you have a chance to get a Zion in one of these other markets. You might take a real look at it.
Yeah, the food sitch in San Antonio, it might not be good for him either. Kevin Durant. It's big. This is obviously a big one. Second full year with the Suns, but we all know the injury situation's out of control there as well. They gave up a lot for him. He's got a year left, and it's a big number that year that's left. Ooh, trade or stay, Lou?
You stay. Kevin Durant has been Kevin Durant. The only thing that has stopped him from being the one of the more dominant players in this league is his health. And even those injuries have been little knickknacks here and there. You know, he hadn't had anything really serious since he's been in the Phoenix Suns uniform. But, you know, he's older, but you don't trade Kevin Durant. And the owner has already said it. I have no intentions, and I absolutely will not trade Kevin Durant. Matt Ishbia is a former basketball player. He knows what Kevin Durant brings to the table. He knows what he brings to the organization and to the fan base. For those reasons, I don't think he gets traded. I think he stays. I think they make adjustments around him and Devin Booker, and they go from there.
Okay. Chandler, LaMelo Ball is up next. He's only 23. He's got a big contract left, 4 more years left on this thing, 169 mil. The numbers are great. The team is not. He's injured sometimes. But the fact that he's only 23, are you trading or are you staying?
I think you take a look at it, but I mean, this dude he's good. Like, he's really, really good. So like, you have to get a lot to get off him. 23 years old, so young, his whole career ahead of him. Guy's averaging 30 points a game as a 23-year-old. And I don't care that they're not winning. He is a generation. Like, he's a huge talent. Now, when you send a package, and you could probably interest me a little bit by who you can get. If I can get 2 or 3, starting type players for this guy, then yeah, I take a look at it. And I think this franchise, they've struggled big time with free agency. They've struggled with the draft. So you do now at least have a franchise piece. Now the decision is going to be made. Is he the guy to have to build around? I don't know if he's that guy yet, but he's also so young, and the numbers he's putting up are fantastic. I'm probably staying with him though at this point. I'm going to give it some more time, and I try and build around a guy like LaMelo Ball.
That's a lot of time left on that deal. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, the playoff race, guys, it's right around the corner. I'm just kidding. We have 5 more months, but it's getting tight. Time to look at it.
Run it back, yeah, run it.
Man, believe it or not, we're like a third of the way through the year, so we might as well take a look. We'll start in the Eastern Conference at what we're vibing with right now as we move forward. And we'll start, Chandler, with the Sixers' odds to make the playoffs. Top 8 seeds, remember that, winner of the play-in. So, yay, nay.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. You know what?
Really? Okay.
I'm going to say yeah, just because looking ahead, I do think if they're healthy and if they can somehow find a way to get Joel Embiid right and at least manage that, Paul George continues to get reps, and they have that big 3 on the floor, I do think they're a better team than the Pacers, than the Pistons, than the Bulls. So, again, this whole playoff thing is a little dicey to me. If anything can happen in these 1 or 2 games, but I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to give it to their experience, and that big 3 has to have an advantage to me over these other teams.
I think that's very nice of you, Chandler. Oh, Lou, does that mean no, or are you just moving?
Yeah, listen, you guys know I spent my first 7 years of my career in Philadelphia. I have a real affinity for this city, for this organization. A lot of people involved in the process of trying to win. Their GM is a former teammate of mine. A lot of staff over there are still people that were there when I was in the league, when I came in the league, and they've molded me into the man that I am today. This team they're not passing the eye test for me right now. I'll start with Joel Embiid. I look at him on the court. It looks like he's laboring. It looks like he's going through a lot. His body is just not giving him the speed and the dominance that we're used to seeing right now. He just looks like he's not ready to be the dominant player that we're used to. It looks like Paul George is going through the same thing. Both of these guys are going through big-time injuries, and it look like they're still trying to find their footing, still trying to get healthy. So for me, they're just not passing the eye test. It's going to pain me to say no, but I just don't see it. They haven't shown me enough flashes where I can feel like they can get through all of this stuff. Even they got 10 after last night. They got 10 back-to-backs left, and based on the narrative that was created at the beginning of the season, that's 20, and half of them we're looking at Joel Embiid missing if they stay on that track of him not playing back-to-backs. And for that, we don't know what else can come up, what other miscellaneous things can come up. it's going to be a no for me. I hate to say it.
That's a big no from Lou. All right, fair enough. The Magic, this is an interesting one. They're the 4 seed. We know that they've been decimated from the top on the injury situation, Lou. So I'll go to you first. Yes or no?
I think they get in. I think they've done enough with their injuries to still continue to be successful, still compete at a high level, still currently sitting at the 4th seed, and they haven't had any major turbulence since they've had guys go down with injury. So,
Plus 1260, Lou.
Yeah, that
That's
should
like
tell
right
you
up your alley.
that's one of my bets, but that should tell you that it's a bomb waiting to go off that's not gonna go your way, and,
Nope.
and so I'm good on that. I got the Orlando Magic staying in position to be a playoff team.
It's a yes. It's a quick yes for me because Paolo's coming back, and again, the Wagner brothers, I don't know when they're coming back, but Jamal Mosley will have next man up mentality. They defend. They're young. They'll get in.
All right, yes for them. We'll go Pistons, Chandler. Yay or nay? They're right now.
Damn it!
Okay.
I hope so. I really hope so.
You said yeah yesterday. We got to have some consistency
Come
here,
on,
Chandler.
they can do this.
Yeah,
They got this.
Yeah, they're the 8th seed. I think
Let's
they get
go.
in. And by the way, look out Cleveland. JB Bickerstaff against the Cleveland Cavs first round, 1 versus 8 if they get in. Fireworks. So I hope they get in. I hope they're the 8th seed, and I hope they play the Cavs in the first round because that would be awesome. And Cade Cunningham is an stud. I said yesterday how they added older pieces around them that can win now. So I would love it. And yes, I'm sticking to it. I think they get in over the Pacers, Bulls out, Pistons, Philly in.
No, not Philly. Pacers seem to be waking up a little bit, Lou. Yay or nay? Right now they're 8.
I got yay. They're starting to roll a little bit. They just lost the other night, but other than that, I think they're playing pretty good basketball. It took them a while to get going this season. Sitting at 16 and 18, not the best of records, but right there in that cluster of teams, I think they survive. I think they make it.
All right, to the West we go, Chandler. We start with the current 11 seed, the Phoenix Suns. Yes or no? This is crazy.
This is tough. And as much as I think that they should, and they get it. I'm going, yeah. And I don't know how they trade Brad Beal. I don't know where. I don't know what they get back for him, but
they don't.
Looking ahead, I think if they get in the play-in, I like their chances. You know what I mean? Like this is a team that it can win 1 or 2 games, and it's tricky to me, Lou. They get a point guard, they get exactly the need that they want, and they get worse. Like it's just this one's a little mind-boggling for me.
How do you say yeah?
Because I still like them over the Warriors, I still like them over the Clippers, and I still like them over the Spurs. So when you get those big 3.
Wrong.
I think they can figure out a way to win 1 or 2 games and get in, but it's not going to be easy. It's crazy. By the way,
you a no, Lou's a no. I can see he's a no.
I would think the odds would be the opposite. If they're a favorite, look minus 134. I think it should be the opposite, but
because Vegas is still bamboozled by those 3 names. It's like, oh my God, that's so sexy.
I'm saying no because we went to hell and back to bat for this team last year. We would not give up on the Phoenix Suns. We thought at any given moment they were going to turn into the monsters that we thought this team were, and we never got off the boat. We kept saying Phoenix, 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 and it didn't happen. Here we are again, sitting at an 11 seed with the same group with a better point guard, and we're still not there. So at this point, I got to stick to my guns. I got to say no.
A no for Lou. All right, another team that sort of gets equity, Golden State, because the odds, as you can see, they're the 10 seed right now, and it still looks like we all assume they'll figure things out, Lou. Yes or no?
I was supposed to go quick, but I don't know. I don't know. Tag your in, Taylor. I don't know.
You don't know.
Adios, amigos.
Wow.
I don't think so. I honestly, I don't think so. I think, and this is more to speak of how good the Western Conference is and how deep it is. And again, we're talking the play. Can they get in the play-in? Can Steph Curry do what he did last night and go 8 for 8 and like have a hell of a game? Sure, but like
that's crazy.
No, not everyone can make it. I'm saying no.
Okay. Spurs are an obvious yes. So then we'll go to Sacramento on the next one. Lou, you cannot pass on this one. Kings, yes or no?
I think no. I think the deficit is too deep. I think there's so much so many distractions surrounding this basketball team right now. I would love to see them get it going. I want to see my guy Debo doing his thing. I want to see him have an opportunity to win, but unfortunately, I got to say no.
Yeah,
All right,
I don't even think they make the play in to even get a chance. I think they're also no.
Don't even know what they're going to look like after February. So this could be a completely different team. We'll take a quick break, come back, a little more. We'll run it back.
Run it up, then run it back.
We've got a fun game tonight, you guys. Knicks in Oklahoma City. These are two hot teams. We'll start with the Knicks on this one, 24-10 right now. Third place in the Eastern Conference. And obviously it's a lot of Cat. Cat's fitting right in, Lou. Has he been the MVP for this team so far?
He really has, outside of Jalen Brunson, we talk about other teams and the fits and guys going to teams and making it work. Cat he's fit in perfectly well. I like the nickname, the Big Bodega. That's funny to me because of in New York with bodegas, but he's been playing well. He looks happy. He's been shooting it inside and out, putting a lot of pressure on defense in every way that you can imagine. He's been boisterous. He's been bold. He's been everything that we've been waiting for Cat to be throughout the entirety of his career. And now for us to see him happy in a major market, in a big market, making a big splash, I love it for him.
God, he really has. That soft narrative, Chandler, I've not heard it once. Not once. It's gone.
No, and it's hard to be soft to play for Tibbs, right? Like he's going to play the minutes, he's going to play tough, he's going to defend, and that is a product of Tom Thibodeau. And Cat might have had that rep before, but no longer, and that's just the DNA of this team, right? They have tough dude. Like OG is tough and versatile, Bridges is tough, Josh Hart is tough, Jalen Brunson is tough. So when you put yourself around these type of guys, it's contagious and it works. Offensively, it's beautiful to watch. They're so versatile. They could switch 1 through 5 defensively. They got something special going in New York, and this is a hell of a game. And 5 points is a lot for a team that played last night. So if I'm a betting man, I'm taking the Knicks +5 tonight. They didn't play last night. Thunder did, and they are hot right now. I even like it money line +66 while we're at it. So give me the Knickerbockers tonight.
I mean, yeah, they got the 9-game winning streak. Oklahoma City's got the 13-game winning streak. Somebody ends tonight, Lou.
I like OKC.
Yeah, there it is. I knew I was going to say that.
Stand down.
That's it?
It is what it is. That's it. Some stuff don't need long sentences. It's just I like OKC.
I don't know. I'm kind of with Chandler on this one. I think that New York is going to go in there and do it.
Oh, you're biased.
Yeah, I do have a bias. I am sitting here in New York. So, yes, I know it's a good game. I'm glad we got a good Friday night matchup for everyone to watch. Guys, believe it or not, when I see you again, it'll be in studio. Are we excited?
Yeah, I'll see you guys Tuesday.
You're the worst. See you guys Monday. Have a good weekend.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.